Well, it's the Grottu television program, number 296. Uh, Probably February 18th, 2021, more than likely. It's a Thursday morning here. Well, had a fun week experiencing what our president refers to as the dark winter. And yeah, it's been fun. So Sunday, Wi-Fi, was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday morning Wi-Fi goes out. And then, I'm looking forward to the snow, because I always like snow. Snow means no school or no work. Of course, my work was school because I was teaching. So snow was a great thing, and there's never been any problem with snow. We've had incredible snowstorm about 10 years ago. I went out and walked my dog Daisy and saw trees that had fallen over and crushed trucks just a block from here. Just incredible, much deeper snow than we got this time. Yeah, the temperatures got pretty damn cold, but there was never any interruption in electricity. Well, Texas has some fools in the state legislature that have allowed us to become reliant on wind technology to the extent of 25% of our capacity. So those froze up, and all of a sudden, I heard other people around, their power had gone out. Well, when our power went out on, I don't know, a few mornings ago, it was in it went out for about 20 minutes, and then we got it back, and then later it went out because they were doing these rolling blackouts because they didn't want everything to go down, and so they shut it down a little bit, and then it goes out, and it stays out, and it stayed out for 24 hours, and it got down to like 1 degree outside, and then it got to the point where it really felt like you were outdoors when you're indoors. I think we got down to about 40 degrees in the house, maybe 42, something like that. And my wife had prepared for this by buying some frozen food that we could heat up in the oven and things, but so that didn't work if we don't have the ability to heat electricity for the oven. The fireplace has been out of commission for a while. I think it's even capped off. I've got to look into that. So, we've been, finally, the power gets turned back on, and then the water goes out completely. And I'm thinking, oh no, we've broken pipes. I had it dripping, and I covered up the pipes outside. I did all the things that you're supposed to do, and it's gotten below zero here, I think, in the past, and none of these problems happen. But apparently, the city of Grottuville, they decided to shut down the water, or I don't know, water. They don't even have an honest story. Water main broke. No, that didn't really happen. It's because too many people are filling up their tubs. So, anyway, that's all I know. Eventually, we got our water back this morning, finally. But we're not supposed to drink it unless we boil it. And so I can't shower, and I haven't showered, I don't know, many days. I'm still wearing the same shirt I think I was wearing in an episode Sunday or Monday. I don't know. It's been a horrible experience in what the future will be. This is You know, the gas prices are going up. The stores have no water. We had stocked up a bunch of water, but now you know, we got to conserve because it's not. I don't know when we're gonna get more at the supermarket. We can't even get to the supermarket. The streets are icy. So, um, yeah. I was eating these fucking disgusting hot Cheetos. It's still on my fingers. You know, I can't really. I'm washing my hands by pouring drinking water from a bottle onto my because I don't want. I saw the water that was coming out of the tap, and you could see this dirt and who knows what kind of fecal matter shit filth is coming out of the fucking faucet. And all I want to do now is just shower. So I'd show you some comic books, but you know I rinsed my. I hate hot Cheetos. I just bought it because I was starving and I went up to the convenience store. That's something my students always ate, and I thought that's the most disgusting shit. Their fingers turn orange, and now I'm one of those fucking idiots. So I didn't want to touch any comics or collectibles, so this may not be a good episode if you're here to see that, because I'm going to wait till I shower before I touch anything. Um, but we're here prepared. We got our water, and we got weapons. And I got my father's helmet. This was my father's too. I'm not trying to do any stolen valor shit. All full disclosure, I've never been in the army. This is my father's helmet. Um, but it was always in the closet under the stairs. So if a tornado ever came, you know, we're supposed to put. He had this helmet there for us to put on, or someone to put on. I guess the youngest or something would put the helmet on to protect themselves. So, but you know, this thing's heavy. The soldiers, you know, Trump had pulled us out of all of these foreign entanglements, but now it seems like we're going back in, and gas prices are going up. And it's Stephen King, the wonderful author Stephen King, has said that it's all Texas's fault for voting for someone that doesn't believe in climate change and who had the energy privatized. You know, like the government's going to run it better. Yeah. So, and there's all this gloating that Texas is suffering coming from people that don't like Texas because they voted for Trump. But I predict this is just the beginning. There's going to be more and more cities affected, and it's going to be targeted. And I don't know. You can get into all these conspiracy rabbit holes that the weather is. They're able to HARP technology, that they're able to actually seed clouds, and someone Mars Eclipse is sending me some nice messages up at the top saying they're getting sunshine in Missouri. Messages pop up as I film. Anyway, I really appreciate all of you that have been sending me messages and everything, and just trying to catch up on all the YouTube videos. And my wife and I, when we didn't have Wi-Fi, I think it just got restored. It's been on spotty the last few 12 hours. There was a AT&T truck outside. I think maybe they've got it fixed now. But we had a movie marathon. Well, I've got shelves and shelves of Blu-rays and DVDs. Just an unbelievable collection, but we always just, we'd have to walk over there and actually take a disc out. It's an effort. So we just watch, what streams, YouTube or whatever. So she wanted to see Hammer movies, so we watched Horror of Dracula, and then we watched, Oh, we watched Kiss of the Vampire first, which was supposed to be the third Dracula movie, but they couldn't get Christopher Lee to come back, so they just made him not Dracula, just another vampire. And that movie, uh, vampirism is like a social disease of the rich, of the elite. It was very apropos of today's society. You know, more and more people are becoming aware of the wealthy, the rich, the scum, the Nancy Pelosi types, the Hillary Clinton types, the witches, the people that try to cling to power and youth by drinking blood. You know, apparently this is the vampires. You know, the immortal undead. That's obviously myth, but I think it started because the elite, the rich people that live up in the castles that are always have been imbibing of blood to try to stay young. I think this is something where people are starting to discover, or of. But anyway, yeah, there's these people are fucking scary, and then the media, the fucking what all these movie stars, people I've never heard of. John Cusack, I've heard of him. You know, are all gloating that Rush Limbaugh died. I don't care who it is. You don't. Maybe if it's Jeffrey Epstein or Hitler, you can say it's great they're dead. But Rush Limbaugh, you know, people. I used to hate the guy when he first started. When he first started being syndicated, because he just seemed obnoxious. But then during Clinton's reign, I started to listen a little bit and say, yeah, he's got these little talent on loan from God, you know, these catchphrases that are just kind of lame. But when you really listen to him, he could talk for hours and hours without taking a caller and make sense and really expose the idiots out there. And how could anyone gloat when someone dies like that? You know, it's just. But you know, I realize more and more that everything is just fucking polluted with their ideas, the movies. I don't really have when movie theaters finally do open back up. I don't know that I'm even that excited, because I hate Hollywood. And the Disney firing that bodybuilder girl from The Mandalorian because she had some conservative tweets, and yet I don't think anyone should be fired. I mean, maybe Disney hired James Gunn back, and I think James Gunn is a great filmmaker, and I think he did a great job of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and the movie Super was great. And he's great. I love his whole movie making sensibility, but his tweets were fucked up as hell, and they weren't funny, and they were all looking at them as a whole. It really made you question, why is he so obsessed with this one joke? Maybe it was an inside joke because he realized all of Hollywood around him was indulging in that horrible thing that he was tweeting about and making jokes about. But it just struck me as weird. And then Disney fired him, and then Disney comes back and rehires him again after Warner or DC hired him to do Suicide Squad, and they hired him back for the new Guardians of the Galaxy, and I have no problem with that. But if you're going to keep a guy like that employed with the shit he tweeted, and with the little thing that Gina, whatever her name is, the bodybuilder girl from Mandalorian, she didn't say anything really. She just said the way that conservatives are being discriminated against is like the early days of Nazi Germany, and that's really kind of accurate. So I guess she's gone from The Mandalorian, and people are leaving Disney Plus in droves. I mean, I had intended to start. I've only seen a few Mandalorian episodes. I intended to have a marathon and watch the first 2 seasons. Now I'm kind of disgusted, and I never got far enough in the show to even see the Baby Yoda thing. But I'm there at Disney Plus for the Marvel series, and shit, it's ridiculous. I'll be right back. Just give me a second here. And of all the problems that we faced, sorry, I had to use the restroom. I know that's not very professional to use the restroom while you're on the air, but I don't have editing software. I can't just press a button and stop it. That it would have to be a whole nother episode. We went through a nightmare that maybe it's first world problems, but we're like, you hardly went through anything. Think about people that went through all these. Well, for Texas, we went through something. And I was worried that my cats were going to die. I was thinking, well, that's hardly anything compared to what people have been through in world wars and hurricanes and tsunamis. Yes, I realize that. But this was one of those existential moments where I had my head, my wife gave me some kind of beanie, and then I had my head wrapped in some sweater where only my mouth was, it was so cold. And then when I breathed, it felt like my lungs were burning when I breathed in the cold air. And I had on 2 sweaters and 2 coats, and I was just wrapped up in several blankets on top of that on a couch in the dark with nothing to do but listen to the entertainment on the phone. And when the phone started to die, I had to go out to the car to charge the phones. And it was, at least I could turn on the heat in the car. But the cats, they weren't snuggled up with us because they kind of stay, ever since we adopted our dog Drusilla, they kind of stay apart because they just don't like the dog, and I guess and vice versa. So I went up and took them blankets and pillows and put them over them and tried to, but I petted my cat Pete, and he just felt cold, and I realized this was all a conscious decision by someone sitting in an office to shut the power off on us. And for how long to do it? Just long enough that maybe they're not going to die, but long enough that they're going to suffer for, maybe voting for Trump or for being a, no good Nick Texan, so that we'll say, oh, Mr. Government, please help us with your Green New Deal. We don't ever want to be cold again. And they're going to keep shutting shit off until it's going to keep feeling like we're in a third world country where you can never trust whether the electricity is going to be on at any given time. So now I realize that we're looking at maybe moving somewhere. We got to move to a place that doesn't get super cold, and if it does, we've got to make sure a working fireplace. And then our family down in Houston, they were Because even Houston and San Antonio down in the south, they got snow, and they were out, didn't have electricity longer than us. And then, but they had a fireplace working. But then they ran out of wood, so they had to, go around looking for wood and on the treacherous streets. And and if you saw what happened about a week ago, right when this was all starting, just a tiny coating of ice, and the car slammed into another one. Then a truck slammed into that, and it was just unbelievable. Until cars were on top of cars in Fort Worth. You don't want to get on these streets. People don't know how to drive in it. People aren't used to it. It's not that they're stupid. It's just they're not used to driving in this weather. So those of you that live up in New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, all these places, no. Speaking of cold, one place I wanted to move to about a year ago was in Wisconsin. Yeah, where and I noticed that Captain Strangelove was just watching one of his recent episodes. He just got this DVD set of the giant spider invasion, and that's a movie made in the '70s by a director named Bill Rebane. And Bill Rebane directed Monster a Go-Go in the early '60s. And I think Herschel Gordon Lewis came in and maybe bought the movie and added some stuff, so it's kind of like partly his movie and partly Bill Rebane. But the greatest thing Bill Rebane ever did is he made, and it's on YouTube, he made a movie called Dance Craze and a movie called Twist Craze. Yeah, I think they're called that. They're just little shorts, I think about 10 minutes long, and Twist Craze shows people twisting, and Dance Craze, they're just yeah, type in that and Bill Rebane. Anyway, so on Zillow, which is a real estate app, they had, Bill Rebane was selling his house, right, in Wisconsin, and it was a gigantic house. And he had all this UFO stuff everywhere, aliens in the front yard, and everything was made to look spacey. It was a kind of inside it was kind of, had rustic wood, like made out of trees, and it looked like you were in a maze, and apparently it used to be a big restaurant, and he converted it into a giant home and a movie studio, and he was selling the place inexpensively, because I think he was going to move in with his daughter or something. And so we were all excited about it. At least I was, more than my wife. And he had a giant steel barn where he kept his movie film and props. And it was gigantic that was on the property, and it had all this land. And anyway, the director of Giant Spider Invasion was selling his house, and I thought, man, this would be perfect, because you see in the pictures on Zillow, you see his office, and he's got a framed one sheet for Giant Spider Invasion, and all his movie stuff, and aliens are everywhere in the den. He has stacks of film cans. It was so cool. Anyway, before we could ever get serious about it, the house was taken off the market, I think because of all the stuff going on with the Wuhan crap. You see this, I'm going to stay put. I don't want, a bunch of people traipsing through my house. But we became friends with him on YouTube. What do you call it? Facebook. Forget the name Facebook. My friend calls it My Face, and he's super conservative. He's just so hardcore conservative. He's great, and I just thought, man, not only could I buy the house, I could befriend the guy and interview him, and it would be so cool. And then maybe I could become good friends with this older director who has probably all these stories about Hollywood. I just had these dreams of everything that could be done. Moving in, he's partly, he's got big giant rooms in the house that are like movie studios that he was using to make films. And anyway, that's, I just finally got the Wi-Fi going and looked and saw Captain Strangelove had about 3 new episodes, and I was watching through those. I still got about an episode and a half to go, and so yeah, I'm thinking about moving, and Captain Strangelove's thinking about moving. It looks like the Crypt Keeper Castle Hills is moving. Everybody's moving, some farther than others, but we don't even really know where we're going. Friends of ours just moved to Alabama. Got a bunch of land. They say it's great. They're out there, and it's really safe and nice. But there was this house I really wanted in Virginia that was such a cool '50s house with a basement and where I could put all my pinball machines and have a jukebox, and then there was all these rooms. It was so great. But then, my wife's saying, but the governor of Virginia is, an asshat, and that's true. He's horrible. And Virginia is mostly conservative, but it's really controlled by these in the north, eastern part of Virginia, the cities that are super left wing near Washington, and then Tennessee looks great because I'd like to be able to go to what is that whole town that's like a tourist attraction. Can't think of it right now, but that looks so much fun. I see some of these travelers on YouTube that go from one place to place. There's what's his name called, the Carpetbagger. And then there's that other guy, Adam the Woo, and all they do is just travel around and go different places. And it looks like Dollywood would be a lot of fun. And damn, what is that damn town? It's just amazing. Just filled with tourist attractions. And Florida seems cool. There's a lot of cool comic book YouTubers that live in Florida, and I'm just scared of hurricanes because I saw our family go through a hurricane down near Houston. But maybe if you get just the sweet spot right in the center, maybe the hurricane can't get you with too much force. But I'm just scared of hurricanes. But I mean, I guess I should be scared of tornadoes where I'm living. But I'm trying to figure out where to go, and it's like you guys need to help steer us because I saw this really cool house, a couple of cool houses here in Texas. Our property taxes are so extremely high, but maybe not compared to California or some or New York, but we're paying over $4,300, $4,400 a year. And that's rough. And I'm making just a little bit over half of what I made now that I'm retired. So I'm finally realizing I've got to scale back because I go out and I'll spend $80 on a bunch of backing boards and bags and buy a few comics, and then that $80 winds up being really important in our budget at the end of the month that was gone to frivolous things. And so this next month I'm not going to buy anything, and so I can entertain you guys on this show. You don't need to see what I got at the comic store, because you can go to your own comic store and see what stuff they've got. But I'm digging out stuff from closets, and I've got so much to entertain me here. I haven't read all of these comics. I haven't read all the books on the shelves, or even watched all the movies I own. So why am I buying new stuff? I gotta rein it back in. But if we can move somewhere else, get a house that costs less with more square footage, then we won't have we still owe about $20,000 on a home equity loan on this house. But if you get a house that's less, then we won't have a mortgage payment every. That would be extra, like $800 added to our monthly budget. Then maybe I could get a few comics or something. And it's just a matter of moving all of this stuff. But we got to move somewhere where they can't do this to us with the weather. Someplace that's like there's some places like in Virginia that I was looking at. The hottest it gets in the summers in the 80s, and that's only for a couple of days a year. So you don't even really need an air conditioner. It's the winter that you gotta stay warm, and if you've got a working fireplace and they shut the power off on you because for whatever political agenda they're shutting it off to punish you or to get you to want their Green New Deal or whatever they're doing. So, if you guys could help steer us, where is a place to go that's not really prone to horrible natural disasters? We've seen so many cool houses in Missouri. I know they get tornadoes too. We saw one that used to be a funeral home. It used to be a funeral home. It was so amazing. It was such a great Victorian house. That's no longer on the market. There was such but yeah, and if it's a place near one of you guys that watch this show regularly, that's great. We'll already know someone that lives there, but nothing's really tying me to this town that I'm living in. I've got a few friends that live around here, good friends, but I don't see them that often. And if I moved to another part of the country, maybe they'd come visit me. I'd still see them just about as often through FaceTime or phone calls. And yeah, this town's really given me nothing. Dallas, where I was mugged, horrible. Wound up in the hospital. This town that I'm living in near Dallas, I remember nothing but junior high, high school, just hatred and just it's kind of scum. And so, yeah, I'm sick of all of this crap. I need to start over somewhere where, I can relax and not, and somewhere where people have common sense. Or something wearing a helmet. I guess it builds up your neck muscles because it adds some extra weight. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to a shower. They're supposed to tell us, tomorrow's Friday, you're supposed to tell us whether they're going to go around and test all the water and tell us whether it's, I know I'm not drinking it. Yeah, you still get some in your mouth when you shower, and I don't know what's in that fucking, we brought in, when we didn't have any water, I brought in some snow in buckets, and I thought, well, it'll melt, and then I can put it in the back of the toilet, into the tank, so that we could flush the toilet, since we didn't have any water pressure. And it was weird. I thought, well, it'll just melt into water, but instead it was just evaporating. I wasn't expecting that. People always say, boil water, bring in snow, let it melt, and you'll be able to flush your toilet. I don't know. I need to be more savvy about emergencies. Didn't expect this. So I need to become a little bit more of a prepper. And what? Oh, We need to buy more of these. Um, yeah, so anyway, tell me what states I should look in. You know, I haven't showered in days, man. And I've been wearing caps and shit. Um, um, yeah, we gotta. Um, this has been an outrageous situation. I've been in miserable situations, but I never felt like, you know, are we gonna make it? Are the cats gonna make? The cats are part of the family. I don't want something to happen to them. So, that's walk down the hall. What the hell? Yeah, but last episode I was showing off my, records. So, yeah, the cats have started to hang out in the Bronze Age room. Cats are there on the green chair. I got to do some working in this room. I think I'll work in this room. It won't be interesting for you to watch, but then the next time I talk to you guys, so I can show you what I've done. But be seeing you.